Okay. Try किए क्या ये सारे questions? Have you tried these questions? Okay, let's see one by one. First, we'll discuss these questions and then we'll move forward with new cases. Okay, so if you see the first case, it is simply we have got HClO4 का concentration पता है तो H plus from HClO4. If I want that, it will be 1 times because every HClO4 is going to give you 1 H plus. So 1 times this much है ना, which is simply 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 3. And that is greater than 10 raised to minus 6. So directly we can calculate the pH from this value. Na? 3 minus log 1.6. Na? Now it is a question that we need to calculate this one. So we can write 1.6 as 8/5. Na? And that's why we'll be writing 3 minus log 8 will become 3 log 2 na? Minus log 5. So again, if you do the calculation, I'm doing the approximate calculation. We need to be careful. Like I told you, कि mains ने बहुत बार कचरा कर दिया है. They don't give you the value of log 2 and they expect you to take it 0.301 exactly. So if it is a question of integer type of reporting wala question, be very careful. Take the 3 digit tak wala number because there was one question जिसमें वो धोखा हुआ था. Otherwise, if the options are given, they will not be that much close कि तुमको 0.3 लिया तो अलग आएगा, 0.301 लिया तो अलग आएगा. If options are again very close, then you take care of the actual number है ना, actual number लेने का है. So यहाँ पे I'm just taking 0.3. यहाँ पे ऐसा 0.699 होता है, I'm taking 0.7. And from that point of view, it becomes 0.9 minus 0.7 is 0.2. And that's why it becomes 2.8. Is it okay? So that will be the answer of this question. If you see the second one, now it is a strong base. So that's why OH minus from strong base will become double of 1.25 into 10 raised to minus 2. That becomes 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 2. And which is greater than again 10 raised to minus 6. And that's why we'll write POH can directly be calculated with this number 2 minus log 2.5 is 5/2 na? And that's why this number will be 2 minus log 5 is 0.7, log 2 is 0.3. So this is 0.4. So this will become 1.6. So pH will be 14 minus 1.6, which is 12.4. This will be the answer. Second का. Third one already I think I have given you the calculation. 10 raised to minus 7 है तो क्या होगा? So I had given you the value actually. So H plus from strong acid. SA लिख रहा हो तो strong acid है. SB लिखूंगा तो strong base. WA will be weak acid. WB will be weak base. Excuse me. Now, if I say how much is this? So this is 10 raised to minus 7, which is now less than 10 raised to minus 6. And that's why I told you, या तो quadratic पूरा solve करना पड़ेगा, या फिर we have got the ready-made formula. Ready-made formula I'm not expecting you, but we know that C plus X into C was equal to KW है ना? H plus into OH minus was equal to KW. वहां से हम लोगों ने निकाला था. बट ऐसा आ जाए एंड इफ यू नो द फॉर्मूला वो सब करके हम लोगों ने देखो क्वाड्रेटिक का सॉल्यूशन निकाल के हम लोगों ने H plus टोटल निकाला था एक्चुअली. If you see case number 1 and 2 में. So now we had the formula जो मैंने already बता दिया था. This becomes the OH minus total if I am having H plus less than 10 raised to minus 6. तो ये चीज हम लोगों ने किया हुआ है. तो I'm just writing it because we have already done that. But even if you don't remember, you should know the basic how to reach to the formula as soon as possible. है ना? So we are writing in this case, we'll be writing H plus total will be, इसको मैंने C बोल दिया है. So this was having formula C plus under root C square plus 4KW upon 2A हो जाता है तो 2 आ जाएगा. And that becomes 10 raised to minus 7 plus root under 10 raised to minus 7 plus 4 into 7 का square, that is 10 raised to minus 14 into 4 into 10 raised to minus 14 है ना, divided by 2. So that gives you root 5 plus 1 sorry 10 raised to minus 7 by 2. Abhi root 5 is 2.236. So plus 1 will become 3.236 divided by 2 will become 1.618 into 10 raised to minus 7. Approximately I am taking that as 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 7. So that's why अभी अगर pH चाहिए अपने को तो we'll calculate 7 minus log 1.6. Log 1.6 we have already calculated ऊपर में है ना. This was coming 0.2. So that's why we'll write pH will be 7 minus log 1.6. So that is 7 minus approximately exactly होगी तो 0.21 जैसा कुछ आता है. So this is log 1.6 and that sorry log this is 0.2 जैसा and that's why this becomes 6.8 जैसा. एक्चुअल जो आता है 6.79 जैसा आता है. दैट्स ओके. दिस विल बी द आंसर. इज इट ओके? 1 minute, जस्ट आई कम बैक. ओके. So if you see previous four questions में fourth and fifth was based on when concentration of H plus from strong acid or concentration of base strong base, concentration of OH minus from strong base if it is less than 10 raised to minus 6. Obviously you have to solve the quadratic, but एक बार जब जैसे थर्ड क्वेश्चन में हम लोगों ने quadratic solve कर लिया for 10 raised to minus 7m HCl solution, we can get the answer of all these questions 4, 5 and 6, 4 and 5. 6 and 7 was when the concentration becomes more than 1, then activity, if nothing is given, we are taking 1. And that's why, yeah, say we'll say POH, in this question 7th, we'll say POH will be minus log of 1, that is 0. That's why pH will become 14. And 14 minus 0 is 14. Any doubt up to this point? 7th के बाद let's see 8th one. Now we are dealing with a mixture of some basic solutions or acidic solutions. So like 8th way we have got equal volumes of 0.02 KOH and 0.01 BaOH twice. Equal volumes of 0.02 m KOH and 0.01 m BaOH twice. What we are going to do in these cases ना, मान लो ये equal volume है ना, that is V. So what we are going to do, OH minus from strong bases, that will calculate. So from the first solution, molarity is 0.02 for the KOH and volume is V, and each KOH is going to give you 1 OH minus. So molarity into volume into 1 will give you the moles of OH minus, plus from the second solution again molarity is 0.01, volume is V, but this time each BaOH twice is going to give you 2 OH minus, and that's why into 2 and divided by V plus V. If you calculate that, 0.2 plus 0.2 will become 0.4, divided by 2 will become 0.02 again. So this much is the molarity, which is 2 into 10 raised to minus 2. Again, that is greater than 10 raised to minus 6. And that's why directly we can calculate the POH. So we'll write POH will be 2 minus log 2, which is 1.7. And that's why pH will become 14 minus 1.7, 12.3 हो जाए. This will be the answer. Any doubt in this part? Any doubt? So next जाते हैं. Let's go to the next one. Next one is we are having acidic solution and plus water is also being added. है ना? Ninth one. I'll just copy paste it. So now ninth one may, if you see, we have got this data. Now we have got 3 solutions. That means 2 solutions plus some water. So water is used here for dilution. What we will do now, if I have to calculate H plus from strong acids, again same method. What we will do, we'll take molarity into volume. If you are taking in ml, then denominator में भी ml लेना पड़ेगा. अगर liter में लिया तो नीचे denominator में भी liter में लेना होगा. So if I am taking it in ml, so I'll write, then we are calculating millimoles, not moles, and that much into HCl will give you 1 H plus. Second solution, molarity is 1 point by 50, volume is 400, into each H2SO4 is going to give you 2H plus. Water we are not taking because with water जब हम लोग decide कर लेंगे ना from strong acids what is the concentration of H plus, then we'll take a call whether to consider water H plus or not. But right now we are taking these two only, and divided by, now when we are doing the total volume, it will become 400 plus 400 plus 1200 and total volume में water का contribution होगा. And that's why once you solve it, what we are getting here is, ऊपर देखो 4 plus 16 20 upon 2000. That is 1 by 100 or 10 raised to minus 2, which is more than 10 raised to minus 6. And that's why we are considering that ki pH will be calculated based on this data directly. And that's why we'll say pH will become minus log of this 10 raised to minus 2, which is 2. This will become the answer. Is it okay? And then the last one, 10th one. This one. Now this time we have got basic solution. So we'll be calculating OH minus. So OH minus from strong bases. We'll take that as 1 by 100 is the molarity of BaOH twice, into 400 will give you millimoles of BaOH twice, into 2 will give you millimoles of OH minus. That much plus from the second solution, 1 by 50 is molarity of NaOH, into 400 will give you millimoles of NaOH, into 1 will give you millimoles of OH minus. Divided by, we'll get 400 plus 400 plus 200. And that gives you, ऊपर देखो 800, तो 8 plus 8 16 upon 1000. We can write this is 16 into 10 raised to minus 3. It is still greater than 10 raised to minus 6. So POH will be directly calculated from this data only. So POH will become 3 minus log 16. Log 16 is 4 log 2. So that is 3 in minus 4 times log 2 is 0.3 if I am taking. Then it becomes 1.8, and that's why pH will become 14 minus 1.8. So 12.2 will be the answer. Is it okay? Any doubt? So this was first set of questions जिसमें मैंने तुमको 10 solutions दे दिए थे, and I had asked you what will be the value of pH for these cases. That's अच्छा नहीं, ये पहले वाला है ना. This was 1 to 10. उसके बाद ये मिक्सचर वाला भी तो हो गया, I think. H2SO4 HCl. बट ठीक है, ये तो कर ही लोगे ना. ये तो आई थिंक नंबर सिर्फ अलग है, बट वी हैव व्हाट एवरीथिंग एल्स सेम है ना. सेकंड वाला क्वेश्चन तो आई जस्ट राइट हियर H प्लस कितना आएगा, दैट विल बी, ये देखो वर्बली कर सकते हो. अभी अभी जो हम लोगों ने बोला था ना, वो वर्बली कर सकते हैं. जैसे ये मोलरिटी इनटू मिलीमोल, मोलरिटी इनटू वॉल्यूम इन ml, दैट विल बिकम 2 into 2, that is millimoles of H plus. For the second we have got 4 into 1, that is millimoles of H plus from HCl, and then pure water is there. तो कुछ नहीं करने का यहाँ पे, that much divided by, and total volume is becoming 400 plus 400 plus 200, that is 1000. We are getting 8 into 10 raised to minus 3. Again, that is more than 10 raised to minus 6. So pH will be 3 minus log 8, and that is 2.1 हो जाएगा. वैसे यहाँ पे OH minus will be 4 into 1 plus 8 into 2, bus that much, and then divided by this total volume is 2000 ml. 16 plus 4, ये तो हो ही गया, 10 raised to minus 2. So POH will be 2, and that's why pH will be 12. Third one, we have got 3 basic solutions. So again OH minus का concentration will calculate. This is coming point, अच्छा moles दिया हुआ है, तो यहाँ पे moles ले रहे हैं, तो 0.01 mole plus second में we have got 0.005, ये तो moles of BaOH twice है, तो into 2 will become the moles of OH minus, plus 0.03 into 1 will be moles of OH minus from NaOH. And that much we have got total number of moles of OH minus divided by total volume is 600 ml, so that is 0.6 liter है ना. अभी यहाँ से if you calculate it, 0.3 plus 0.03 plus 0.01 plus 0.01, 0.05 upon 0.6. So that is coming 5 by 16, that means 1 by 12, 12 raised to minus 1. So we'll write POH will become minus log of this. So this will become log 12. log 12 is log 2 plus log 2 plus log 3 है ना. So log 2 is 0.3, 0.3, 0.48. So that will become 1.08 है ना. And that's why pH will become 12, 14 minus this thing. So that will become 12.92. That will become the answer. Any doubt in all these questions? Strong acid or
जैसे कि
strong
लास्ट
base.
वाला लॉग कैसे सॉल्व किया आपने?
Last wala log, if I am getting POH 12 raised to minus 1, this is OH minus. Then POH was minus log of this, है ना? That will become log 12. And log 12 is what? Log 12 is 2 into 2 into 3. That will
Okay.
become log 2 plus log 2 plus log 3. And we know the values of log 2 and log 3. Okay.
Okay.
So let's go to the next case where we are going to talk about weak acids and its related cases. बाकी सब तो कर ही लिया था इधर. So weak acids में we have got first question in which we have got actually combination questions. We'll solve them one by one. Let's take this one. Okay. So in first question again यहाँ पे क्या है? If you remember under root k upon c check करते थे. After knowing that k if it is less than 0.1, then we'll be going directly for या तो formula of h plus पे चले जाओ which will be under root k into c, or you can directly calculate pH का formula भी मैंने निकाल के रखा था. Like first question में k दिया हुआ है, c दिया हुआ है, तो c is 10 raised to minus 1, Ka is 2 into 10 raised to minus 5. So I'll check under root K upon C. So that is coming under root 2 into 10 raised to minus 5 upon 10 raised to minus 1. And that is giving you under root 2 into 10 raised to minus 2, which is less than 0.1. And that's why H plus in this case from weak acid will be directly under root K into C. And if you calculate that, we'll be getting root 2 into 10 raised to minus 3. And which is greater than 10 raised to minus 6. So water H plus is not relevant here. And that's why directly we can calculate pH. And pH will become 3 minus log root 2, which is half log 2. 3 minus half into 0.3 will become 2.85. That will become the answer. Is it okay? Any doubt? Next one. Second one. अभी देखो concentration is remaining same. वीक बेस आ गया है जिसका के भी उतना है जितना इसका के था. तो मैथमेटिक्स डजंट नो कि वी आर टेकिंग के और केवी एंड वी आर कैलकुलेटिंग पीएच और पीओएच. तो व्हाटएवर वाज द आंसर फॉर द पीएच इन द प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन, सेम विल बी द रिजल्ट फॉर पीओएच इन दिस क्वेश्चन, है ना. मैं चाहूं तो पूरा काम करूंगा बट विल बी गेटिंग द सेम रिजल्ट. ये लिखा केबी लिखा तो 2 into 10 raised to minus 5. And then if you check under root kb by c check करेंगे यहाँ पे, that will be coming less than 0.1. So we'll be calculating OH minus, which is under root kb into c, and that is from weak base actually. And that is root 2 into 10 raised to minus 3, which is greater than 10 raised to minus 6. And that's why POH will become whatever we have calculated 2.85. So pH will become 11.15. That will become the answer. Okay. इसलिए मैंने एक रिजल्ट दिया था लास्ट में, याद करो, that K of NH4OH, K of CH3COH जितना आता है उतना ही Kb of NH बचा था. अप्रोक्सीमेटली दे आर सेम, नथिंग इज गिवन, तो हम लोग दोनों को सेम ले लेते हैं. एंड इसलिए मैंने बोला था अगर आइडेंटिकल कंसंट्रेशन लिया हुआ है तो जितना पीएच CH3COH का सॉल्यूशन देगा उतना ही POH NH4OH का सॉल्यूशन देगा, है ना. ठीक है. तो दैट वाज अनदर पार्ट जो मैंने नोट्स में लिखवाया अभी था. थर्ड क्वेश्चन में इफ यू सी, सी का वैल्यू इज इक्वल टू केबी का वैल्यू. C is 2 into 10 raised to minus 5 and Kb is also 2 into 10 raised to minus 5. In that case, what happens now? Under root Kb by C is 1, which is greater than 0.1. And that's why we cannot take under root Kb by C as alpha. We need to solve that equation C alpha square by 1 minus alpha is equal to Kb. And in that case, we are getting alpha square by 1 minus alpha is coming 1. And that's why we are saying this is giving you equation this, and that we have to solve for alpha, and then C alpha will become OH minus, है ना. we are writing alpha in this case -1 plus b square is 1 plus 4 by 2. So this is becoming root 5 minus 1 by 2, which is, if I'm taking root 5 as 2.236, this will become 1 minute, क्या गड़बड़ किया, by 2 ना, तो 1.136 तो 0.618 आ जाएगा ना, विच इज ग्रेटर देन 0.1, इसलिए अल्फा को हम लोगों ने इग्नोर करना सही नहीं समझा है ना, दैट्स व्हाई वी आर सॉल्विंग द क्वाड्रेटिक, 1 माइनस अल्फा को 1 नहीं लिखा है, एंड दिस नंबर प्रूव्स दैट कि अगर हम लोगों ने वो किया होता तो रॉन्ग होता, एंड दैट्स व्हाई नाउ इफ दे आर आस्किंग यू OH माइनस फ्रॉम वीक बेस कितना आ रहा है, राइट, इट विल बी C into alpha. C is 2 into 10 raised to minus 5 and alpha is 0.618, and that's why it becomes 1.236 into 10 raised to minus 5. Now this is a very difficult number. So exam में कैसे handle करने का, I'll tell you. If you have got options, otherwise they should give you the number. So यहाँ पे again this is greater than 10 raised to minus 6, तो water का OH minus is not relevant. That's why directly we'll be calculating 5 minus log 1.236. Now what happens now? Log 1.2 we can calculate, है ना? This is log 6 by 5. So that is log 3 plus log 2 minus log 5. So log 3 is 0.48 approximately I'm taking. Log 2 is 0.3 and this is 0.7, है ना? So this is 0.08. If I take log 1.25, we can calculate that also. And that will be log 5 by 4. If you calculate that, it will be very close to 0.10. And the number which we have is 1.236. It is in between coming in between these two, and that's why we can approximately say 5 minus this will become 0.09 जैसा कुछ रहा होगा. And if you check with the calculator, approximately you'll be getting the same number, and that's why we are saying this will be 4.91 जैसा. If I have got POH, then I can calculate pH also. 14 minus 4.91, which is 9.09, will become the answer. Is it okay? Right, come. Any doubt? Okay, so third के बाद let's see the fourth one. Fourth one is important again. If you see K का value is very high, 0.2 जैसा दिख रहा है ना? And that gives you a hint कि K is so high that it may not be that much weak acid that its alpha will be much less than 1. That's why be careful. Obviously, if you are following the process तो अपने आप समझ में आ जाएगा. C का value is 0.1, K का value is 0.2. 1. तो K का value here is 0.2. So if I calculate under root Ka by C, ये तो 2 आ गया. ये 0.1 क्या, ये तो 1 से भी ज्यादा हो गया. This is greater than 0.1. Theoretically we have to check that much only, but ये कहानी तो 1 से भी ज्यादा हो. इसको तो अल्फा लेना एक क्राइम है. अल्फा कैन नेवर बी मोर देन 1, है ना? तो ये तो क्राइम ही हो जाता अगर मैंने इसको अल्फा ले लिया होता. That's why again we need to solve that equation C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. Last time it was Kb, है ना? इस बार because we have got weak acid का solution, we'll write this one as Ka. So now if you solve it, alpha square by 1 minus alpha will become 2. So that will give you quadratic equation alpha square plus 2 alpha minus 2 equals 0. If you solve it, again we'll be getting minus 2 plus b square is 4 minus 4ac will become plus 8 by 2. So that is coming root 12 will become 2 root 3, है ना? So 2 root 3 minus 2 by 2 will become root 3 minus 1, है ना? This is alpha. So now if it is asking, this is 0.732 हो जाएगा because root 3 is 1.732. And that's why if it is asking pH कितना होगा, तो we'll write first H plus कितना होगा. So H plus will be C alpha. C alpha, alpha C is 0.1 and alpha is 0.732. देखो ये much greater than 0.1 है ना, तो इसको तो 1 minus alpha को 1 तो लिख ही नहीं सकते थे बिल्कुल भी. That's why what we are getting, it is 7.32 into 10 raised to minus 2 we can write, which is greater than 10 raised to minus 6. So H plus of H2 is not relevant here again. So this was H plus from weak acid, and that will be equal to H plus total, and that's why 2 minus log 7.32. Again, if they have not given you number, we can predict the number. Like log 7 was 0.85 this. and log 7.5 we can calculate, है ना? This is log 15 by 2, and that is log 15 will be log 3 plus log 5, so 0.48 plus log 5 0.7 minus 0.3, है ना? So that comes 0.88 जैसा. तो 0.85 एंड 0.88 के बीच में 0.86 0.87 दो नंबर आते हैं, बिकॉज दिस नंबर इज क्लोजर टू 7.5 एंड दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टेकिंग 0.87 जैसा, है ना? तो रफली दिस इज 0.2 माइनस 0.87 जैसा कुछ आता होगा, विच इज 1.13. नाउ मैंने ऊपर देखो log 7.332 का नंबर दिया होगा वैल्यू, है ना? और मैंने अभी प्रेडिक्ट किया 0.87. इफ यू सी द एक्चुअल वन 0.86 दिया हुआ है ना. तो very close to the actual answer, but sometimes you'll be getting slight deviation from that. तो अगर दिया हुआ है तो दिया हुआ नंबर लेंगे. तो लाइक अगर ये दिया हो तो विल राइट 1.14, वेरी क्लोज टू द एक्चुअल आंसर. इसी से एक दो डिजिट का फर्क आएगा. इफ इट इज ऑप्शन वाला क्वेश्चन तो डायरेक्टली ऑब्वियसली विल सी द ऑप्शन किसके क्लोजेस्ट आ रहा है. Any doubt in this part? So these were the 4 questions related to weak acid or weak base. अब इसी मैंने कुछ और क्वेश्चंस दिए थे, आई थिंक, है ना? लेट्स सी. 1 के बाद I had given you, अच्छा 2 3 4 5 6 7, okay 7 तक है. Let's see next question. ये सब हो जाएंगे फटाफट. कहीं डाउट आएगा तो रोक के पूछोगे. So the next question, when I have talked about relative strength, उसके लिए मैंने बाद में एक नोट्स भी दिया था. Whenever they are going to give you the relative strength की बात कर रहे हो ना, तो हम लोगों ने बात की थी कि relative strength for two given acids will be the ratio of their H plus or ratio of a square root of their Ka, है ना? यही यही चीज बताया था कि दिस इज द रिलेटिव स्ट्रेंथ का डेफिनेशन. So what we are going to do, we have to calculate ratio of square root of their Ka. If they are asking you relative strength, so we'll write this will be equal to under root Ka of first acid upon Ka of second acid. And that will become under root first acid is 4.5 into 10 raised to minus 4 upon 1.8 into 10 raised to minus 5. If I write ऊपर 450 कर दिया तो नीचे 18 आ जाएगा. So that will give you root under, this is 2 times to 36, 5, then 25. So this is 5:1. 5 आ रहा है तो 5:1 will become the answer. Third question, very simple. C is given, alpha is given, K पूछ रहा है, एंड अल्फा का वैल्यू जो है ना दैट इज 0.01%. का मतलब होता है 0.0001, है ना? 0.01 by 100, and that is less than 0.1. And C is given as 10 raised to minus 2m, and that's why under such condition Ka, which was C alpha square by 1 minus alpha, can be written as C alpha square, because alpha is much less than 1, and that's why we'll be writing it as 0.10 raised to minus 2 into alpha का square. तो alpha is 10 raised to minus 4 का square, that will give you 10 raised to minus 10. This will be the answer, which is C option. H plus पूछता तो we'll be writing C alpha, then it will become 10 raised to minus 6. Okay, but if they have asked you K का value, so this was third question. Let's go to the fourth one. The fourth one is this question. Now, ratio of degree of dissociation of two acids like alpha 1 by alpha 2 is 1 by 10, and ratio of their ionization constants are Ka values, है ना? तो Ka of first acid upon Ka of second acid is given as 1 by 50, and alpha is much less than 1. What will be the ratio of their concentration? So we can write na Ka is nothing but C alpha square. अभी just देखा था. is 1 by 50 and 50, not 50, 50. And then alpha 1 by alpha 2 we are knowing. So we'll write C1 by C2 into this is 1 by 10 ka square is equal to 1 by 50. So that gives you C1 by C2 will become 2:1. That will be the answer. Fifth question. This chapter is almost completely, I'll say, जब हम लोग वहां पहुंचेंगे थोड़ा सा बीच में आफ्टर केस नंबर 10 हम लोग थोड़ा सा theoretical डिस्कशन करेंगे. पार्ट ऑफ इट आई हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस दैट इन जीओसी. एंड उसके बाद फिर वापस से जब हम लोग थोड़ा सा बफर में जाएंगे वहां कंसेप्चुअल थोड़ा सा होगा. एंड देन उसके बाद फिर लास्ट में जब हम लोग इंडिकेटर्स वगैरह की बात करेंगे देन विल discuss the conceptual part. Other than that, it is totally numerical. Totally numerical. Now in this question, they have given you k ka value and pH ka value. So pH is 4, which means H plus is 10 raised to minus 4. If it is greater than 10 raised to minus 6, so this is nothing but H plus from the weak acid only. This is 10 raised to minus 4. And then k ka value is given. K ka value is given as 2 into 10 raised to minus 4. इतना दिया हुआ है. Calculate the degree of ionization and the of the acid and the mass in milligram of the acid present in the solution, and solution is 1 liter, है ना. Now what happens if you remember, हम लोगों ने कहा था this was C alpha square by 1 minus alpha was K, ये बोला था. तो that will be 2 into 10 raised to minus 4 and C alpha was nothing but H plus, है ना. तो H plus into alpha upon 1 minus alpha is K. यही एक रिजल्ट मैंने बोला था कि इसको हम लोग यूज कर सकते. तो राइट नाउ आई एम राइटिंग दिस वन. So this was the formula we can always use without any assumption. And then we have got H plus, we have got K. तो अल्फा निकल आएगा. इट इज अ लीनियर इक्वेशन, तो क्वाड्रेटिक भी नहीं सॉल्व करना है. इवन इफ यू गो विदाउट assumption तो चलेगा. एंड यहाँ पे assumption इनफैक्ट शायद वैलिड भी नहीं होगा. So if you see this one, 2 into 10 raised to minus 4 upon this is 10 raised to minus 4. So this becomes 2. And definitely assumption valid नहीं होगा यहाँ पे. So alpha is 2 minus 2 alpha, which means alpha is, if you check that, 2 by 3 आ रहा है, which is 0.67 जैसा, greater than 0.1. तो अगर मैंने assumption ले लिया तो ना 1 minus alpha को 1 लिख दिया तो it will be wrong. It will give you wrong result, है ना. So that's one part. So this is one answer. Alpha पूछा है. And second is, it is asking you mass of acid. तो C निकाल सकते हैं ना. C into alpha was H plus. We know H plus, we know alpha. So C into alpha का value is 2 by 3 and that is 10 raised to minus 4. So C becomes 3 by 2 into 10 raised to minus 4. तो these many mole per liter है. तो ग्राम में कितना आएगा और फिर मिलीग्राम में कितना आएगा. तो विल राइट 3 by 2 into 10 raised to minus 4. एंड HCOOH का अगर मोलर मास देखोगे तो इट इज कमिंग हाउ मच. दिस इज 12, 32 तो 44, 45, 46 आ रहा है. तो दिस मच ग्राम पर लीटर इनटू 10 raised to 3 कर दिया तो विल बी गेटिंग मिलीग्राम, है ना. इनटू 10 raised to 3 कर दिया तो वी आर गेटिंग मिलीग्राम पर लीटर. 1 लीटर ही सॉल्यूशन है तो इतने से ही काम हो जाएगा. तो दिस विल बी द आंसर. एंड इफ यू रिजॉल्व इट 0.1 into 23 तो 6.9 आ जाएगा ना मिलीग्राम पर लीटर. दिस विल बी द आंसर. ये दो आंसर्स हो गए. एक तो अल्फा पूछा था और एक हाउ मेनी milligrams of HCOH is present in the solution, है. This is the answer. Any doubt in this part? Any doubt? So next I think there are two more questions. Sixth one was this one. अभी जस्ट मैंने बताया था if I have got CH3COH का K equal to NH4OH का Kb and they are having same concentration, then whatever will be the pH of acidic acid solution, same will be POH of NH4OH solution. So directly we can write POH of NH4OH solution will be equal to pH of CH3COH solution if they are having same concentration, because एक का K दूसरे के Kb के बराबर है, and that is given as 3. So that's why if they are asking you pH of NH4OH solution, so we'll write 14 minus 3. So pH of NH4OH solution will become 14 minus 3, which is 11. That will become the answer. D option. Is it okay? चलो लास्ट क्वेश्चन बच गया, and that is a good question again. Like I told you, मतलब ये तो तुम्हारे पेस के मॉड्यूल में ही है this question. So now if you see this one, पहली बात तो एस्पिरिन एसिड दिया हुआ है, उसके 2 टैबलेट दिया हो. If you just miss one part of it, you'll get the wrong answer. So 2 tablets of this aspirin as dispirin is given, which is dispirin is 1.2 gram each, and you have taken 2 tablets of it, and it says dispirin consists 75 gram of aspirin acid. Not the whole part of it is aspirin acid. So if they're asking you mass of aspirin acid present, that will be 1.2 into 75 by 100. ये तो per tablet हो गया. We have got 2 tablets, so that's why this much gram. Now that is, if you calculate it, what we are getting here is 2.4, so 3 and 150. So this will be 1.8 gram, है ना? Now this is mass. If I have to calculate moles ना, तो molecular mass से divide करना पड़ेगा, and that's why we need to calculate the molecular mass. इसका अगर molar mass calculate करोगे ना, ये देखो क्या हो रहा है. We have got benzene ring, और उसी पे एक जगह COOH है, एक जगह COOCH3 है. तो we have got C6H4 COOH and COCH3 COOCH3, sorry, OCOCH3 है ना, इधर O है, and then we have got COCH3. Yeah, now we can calculate the molecular mass. This is 76 plus this is 45, so that will become how much? 24. So 121 plus this will become 47. So 76 plus 45 plus I think 47. No, 15, 27 plus 32, 59. Okay, so this will be 180 आ रहा है देखो. So this is having 180 gram. So this becomes 1.8 upon 180, and that is 10 raised to minus 2 moles. And that's why if it is asking, and this is resolved in 1 liter, so that becomes C, है ना? So C का value, that is concentration of weak acid, is 10 raised to minus 2, and इसका K का value दिया हुआ है, and that is given as 10 raised to minus 2. Again, why this question is good one? Because यहाँ देखो इतना करने के बाद भी relief नहीं है. This is coming 1, which is greater than 0.1. So you cannot again assume that alpha is much less than 1, and that's why you will be taking H plus equals under root K into C. वो नहीं ले सकते. So we have to take H plus from weak acid. C alpha लेना होगा, and alpha के लिए we have to solve the quadratic, and quadratic is C alpha squared by 1 minus alpha equals K, and K C बराबर होता है, तो already we have solved one question जिसमें K और alpha बराबर था ना. If you see that one CS3COH वाला case, I'll just be taking the alpha का value from there. If you see the third question, we have got the same equation है ना, alpha squared by 1 minus alpha equals 1. तो alpha का value was coming 0.618. So directly we can write that 0.618. Actually, it is coming alpha squared by 1 minus alpha is coming 1. That means alpha squared plus alpha minus 1 is 0. So alpha will be 0.618. कहाँ से आया था? तो root 5 minus 1 by 2. इससे आया था, तो that is 0.618 आ गया. Now if it is asking H plus कितना होगा, so we will be writing it is C alpha. C is 10 raised to minus 2 into 0.618, and again that becomes 6.18 into 10 raised to minus 3, and that's why pH it is again 10 raised to minus 6 से ज़्यादा है ये. So directly we can calculate pH from here. So that will be 3 minus log 6.18. Now if you're trying to calculate it again, log 6 we know. Log 6 is log 2 plus log 3, so that will become 0.78 जैसा. log 7 अगर लोगे तो 0.85 होता है, तो इसके बीच में कहीं आने वाला है. और ज्यादा सिंपल करना है तो वी कैन कैलकुलेट log 6.4 कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं ना. दैट इज 6 log 2 minus log 10 है ना. तो दैट विल बिकम अप्रोक्सीमेटली 0.8 जैसा. तो आई एम ट्रीटिंग इट कि ये 6.4 और 6 के बीच में कहीं पे आ रहा है, ये 0.78 है, 0.8 है, तो इट विल बी अप्रोक्सीमेटली 0.79 जैसा. So this is coming 2.21 जैसा. That is the closest answer we can get. And if you see options दिए हुए तो it is becomes very easy. We have got 2.2 एक option दिख रहा है ना. We'll take that. Is it okay? Any doubt? चलो, तो these were the questions जो हम लोगों ने लास्ट में केस नंबर 4 तक कर लिया था. Any doubt up to this point? इसके बाद हम लोग जाएंगे केस 5, 6, 7, 8 इतना कर लेंगे एटलीस्ट आज. इफ वी गेट टाइम तो 9, 10 पे भी चले जाएंगे. ऑब्वियसली आई टोल्ड यू कि वी आर गोइंग टू हैव पेयर ऑफ केसेस, है ना. तो केस नंबर 5, इफ आई एम हैविंग वन मोनोप्रोटिक एसिड अलोंग विद वन और मोर स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड्स, ठीक है. इफ आई एम गेटिंग केस 5 इज if I have got one weak monoprotic acid along with one or more strong acids. Strong acid से H plus का concentration कैसे निकालते हैं, that we have already calculated. I am assuming them to be C1, and weak acid का concentration, I'm not saying H plus from weak acid because it will be having partial ionization and there will be common ion effect imposed by the H plus from strong acid over the ionization of weak acid, है ना. And that's why alpha of weak acid will be decreased in presence of strong acid. That means in absence of strong acid जो अल्फा आने वाला था उससे कम आने वाला है. So that is another part, and वही qualitatively we have studied that during common ion effect, है ना. तो अब ये मैथमेटिकली कैसे दिखता है. सो इफ आई हैव गॉट, मान लो वीक एसिड जो है ना वो HA है. इफ दिस इज HA, व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू राइट, HA के आयनाइजेशन को इफ आई हैव टू शो इट, वी आर राइटिंग HA aqueous plus A minus aqueous, and it was having some Ka value. Now initial, what we are saying, that means without dissociation this was C2, and H plus from strong acid is already there, which is C1. So we'll be starting with this point, and then at equilibrium we can assume that alpha is the degree of ionization of weak acid, so it will become C2 alpha is the consumption, so this will be formed by C2 alpha, so this becomes C1 plus C2 alpha, and this will also be formed by C2 alpha, so this is C2 alpha. Now at equilibrium we can write K equals Q, so we are writing H plus into A minus upon HA is equal to K of HA, and that's why we can write this will become C1 plus C2 alpha into C2 alpha upon C2 into 1 minus alpha is equal to K. Now this is a quadratic equation, na? Now again the question is whether to solve this quadratic equation or we can make any assumption. So there are two conditions. देखो क्वाड्रेटिक को सिंप्लीफाई करने के लिए क्या तरीका दिख रहा है. If I am having C2 alpha much less than C1, then I can write C1 plus C2 alpha की जगह C1 लिख सकते हैं, then it will become linear. और सिंप्लीफाई करना, if I am having alpha much less than 1, 1 minus alpha को मैं 1 लिख सकता हूँ, है ना. अब ये दोनों कंडीशंस कब आएंगे, ठीक है. तो पहली बात, if strong acid was not there, if even then alpha was much less than 1, तो अभी तो आएगा ही आएगा, है ना. तो in that scenario, if I'm having k upon c2 का स्क्वायर रूट, if that is coming 0.1 से कम, तो अभी तो अब डेफिनेटली 0.1 से और भी कम आने वाला है, because common ion effect will be imposed and that's why alpha will be decreased. That's one part. Second part is, in absence of strong acid, if H plus coming from weak acid was less than 1/10 of the C1, even then we can ignore C2 alpha in comparison to C1, क्योंकि अभी तो और भी कम आने वाला है ना. तो ये दोनों कंडीशन हम लोग वैलिड करेंगे. तो विल बी सेइंग कि विल बी चेकिंग टू कंडीशंस एक्चुअली. पहला है कि if we are getting under root k by C2, C2 is the concentration of weak acid. If that is less than 1 and under root k into C2 is less than 1/10 of C1, अगर ये दोनों वैलिड होते हैं तो वी कैन इग्नोर. अगर ऐसा होता है तो वी कैन डायरेक्टली राइट C1 plus C2 alpha will be C1, and we can write 1 minus alpha will be 1. And after solving that you can see that ये क्या बन गया, देखो C1 in this condition will say, तो ये इक्वेशन 1 जो है, तो ऐसा होने से विल राइट इक्वेशन 1 जो है ना, दैट इज सिंपली C1 into C2 alpha upon C2 is giving you K, और यहां से अल्फा आ गया. अल्फा इज सिंपली Ka upon C1. एक तो ये भी निकल गया, अल्फा भी निकल गया. एंड वी आर सेइंग बिकॉज H plus total was this much है ना, this is H plus total which was C1 plus C2 alpha. Now we can write that as C1 only है ना, and that's why if C1 is greater than 10 raised to minus 6, तो minus log of C1 will be giving you pH. Any doubt in this case? Any doubt? If any one of these conditions are not valid, we have to anyway solve the quadratic equation. तो अगर ऐसा आ गया ना कहीं पे कि if one of these conditions are not valid, तो directly equation number 1 solve कर लेंगे ना. तो if I am getting a condition where any one of these is not valid, then we'll directly write कि पूरा quadratic solve करो, है ना. To solve the quadratic equation number 1 to get this one, and H plus is nothing but C1 plus C2 alpha. Is it okay? देख लो एक बार, कहीं डाउट है तो पूछ लो. सिमिलरली एसिड की जगह बेस कर दिया, वीक वीक मोनो बेसिक एसिड की जगह वीक मोनो एसिडिक बेस कर दिया, एंड देन स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड की जगह स्ट्रॉन्ग बेस कर दिया. सब कुछ पलट जाएगा. we'll have the next situation where we are going to have this situation. जो पीछे बताया वही बताया यहाँ पे. सिर्फ एसिड की जगह बेस हो गया है, के की जगह के बी हो गया है, एच प्लस की जगह ओ एच माइनस हो गया है, ए माइनस की जगह बी प्लस हो गया है. ओके, so this is the same scenario where we can directly work in terms of pH, POH निकाल सकते हैं, and then ultimately pH will be 14 minus POH. देख लो एक बार, कहीं डाउट रहे तो पूछो, otherwise we have to solve the questions. Okay, let's try question then. एक दो क्वेश्चन करेंगे तो you will get more idea and more confidence. Try to solve this question. एनी आंसर पीएच के लिए? पीएच इज सिंपल वन. If you get 1 point wrong, all your answers will become wrong. And that point I'll be repeating till end of this chapter. Whenever they are mixing one or more solutions, after mixing, the concentration will no more be equal to the concentration before mixing, है ना? That's why whenever they'll be giving you such type of situation where they are mixing solutions, then we'll always write one line that just after mixing what is going to happen. Just after mixing, if you see HCl before mixing was 0.2 m, that was in 500 ml. Now the volume is not 500, it has become 500 plus 500, है ना? And that's why HCl के moles जो थे ना, that was 0.2 into millimoles, I'll say 0.2 into 500. Now the total volume is 500 plus 500, and that's why it will become 0.1. And that's why H plus from strong acid after mixing is 0.1 into 1, because each HCl is going to give you 1 H plus. So this much, इसको मैंने C1 बोला हुआ है. The concentration of CH3COH, which before mixing was again 0.2 m in 500 ml. So these many millimoles were there, divided by total volume is 500 plus 500. So this is the final molarity, which is 0.1, which I called as C2. And then I told you to check इसका K जो दिया हुआ है, that is 2 into 10 raised to minus 5. तो जो मैंने चेक करने को बोला था, that was under root K upon C2. इसको चेक कर लो. It will be coming under root 2 into 10 raised to minus 5 upon 10 raised to minus 1. So this is coming root 2 into 10 raised to minus 2, which is less than 0.1. And दूसरा मैंने बोला था चेक करने को कि अंडर रूट के इंटू C2 शुड बी लेस देन 1/10 ऑफ C1, है ना? सो अंडर रूट के ए इंटू C2, which is root 2 into 10 raised to minus 3, is must be less than 1/10 of C1, and C1 is 0.1. तो 0.1 into 1/10 is 10 raised to minus 2. उससे तो ये कम ही है ना? Because this is 10 raised to minus 2, which can be written as 10 into 10 raised to minus 3, है ना? After checking these two things ना, हम लोग डायरेक्टली कर सकते हैं कि H plus from acids is C1 directly, which is 10 raised to minus 1, which is greater than 10 raised to minus 6. So pH can directly be calculated from here, and that will be minus log of 10 raised to minus 1, which is 1. That's the answer for first question. Any doubt? तो ये हमेशा याद रखना, whenever they are mixing the solution, always first calculate the concentration after mixing. This is important. मार्क तुमने पॉइंट टू लेकर सारे आंसर्स निकाले ना? And that's the mistake. You have to identify that whenever you are mixing the solution, just after mixing, the concentrations are going to be changed, है ना? They'll not remain the previous one क्योंकि volume बढ़ गया है ना? So we'll always have to check that part. अब ये आने के बाद once you have got H plus तो OH minus तो निकल ही आएगा. अब इसमें क्या है, बाकी सारे कैलकुलेशन ज्यादा टफ नहीं रहेंगे. सो नाउ अभी कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ अनायंस अगर निकालना है, आई राइट OH minus इज नथिंग बट KW अपॉन H plus. ये तो किसी भी सॉल्यूशन में वैलिड है, पहले दिन मैंने बताया था. So that is 10 raised to minus 14 upon H plus is nothing but we have calculated that it was 10 raised to minus 1. So this will become 10 raised to minus 30. Cl माइनस, Cl माइनस इज कमिंग फ्रॉम HCl है ना, तो जितना H प्लस आ रहा है उतना ही Cl माइनस आ रहा है। HCl इज स्ट्रॉन्ग इलेक्ट्रोलाइट, सो ये जितना H प्लस देगा उतना ही Cl माइनस दे रहा है। फाइनल सॉल्यूशन में इफ इट इज आस्किंग Cl माइनस, that will be 0.1 into 1, that is 0.1 itself. But when it is asking CS3COH or CS3CO minus, so we have to write CS3CO minus into H plus upon CS3COH is equal to K of that CS3COH. So CS3CO minus will become equal to K, which is 2 into 10 raised to minus 5. CS3COH का ionization is almost suppressed, and that's why we can write that जितना initial था उतना ही रह जाएगा, and H plus is also 0.1, so this will become 2 into 10 raised to minus 5. चेक कर लो, कहीं भी डाउट है तो पूछ लो. If you have got any doubt, ask freely, because these are the questions जो कहीं भी मेंस में, एडवांस में कहीं भी दिख सकता है. एडवांस के लिए दिस विल बी कंसीडर्ड एज एन इजियर क्वेश्चन, मेंस के लिए ठीक ठाक क्वेश्चन कहा जाएगा. बट दीज आर टिपिकल क्वेश्चन जिसका मेथड पता हो तो यू ऑलरेडी नो कि हाउ टू व्हाट टू डू इन दिस टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन, है ना. दीज आर हैविंग टिपिकल स्टेप्स. तो आई कॉल इट कि ये क्लरिकल क्वेश्चन है, मतलब यू हैव बीन गिवन इंस्ट्रक्शन, फॉलो दिस इंस्ट्रक्शन, फॉलो दिस स्टेप्स, यू विल बी गेटिंग द आंसर. सिंपल सी कहानी, इसमें कोई कॉम्प्लिकेशन नहीं है. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग यू, इफ यू हैव गॉट एनी प्रॉब्लम, एनी डाउट, जस्ट आस्क. चलो फिर आई एम गिविंग यू 3 क्वेश्चंस, इन फैक्ट कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. ओके, क्लोरीन वाले में देखो नील क्या हुआ है ना, HCl इज स्ट्रॉन्ग इलेक्ट्रोलाइट है ना, स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड, तो इट विल गिव यू H प्लस एंड Cl माइनस सेम आइडेंटिकल है ना. व्हाट वी आर राइटिंग हियर ना, आई विल राइट इट साइड. HCl was the source of ये है ना, यहाँ तो लिखा है देखो, HCl was the source of H plus and Cl minus. Before ionization it was 0.1, so it will give you 0.1 this and 0.1 this है ना, so directly that's why I have written it 0.1. Is it okay? Is it okay, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
So
I'm giving you a
the
set of 3 questions. हाँ जी बोलो. Tell me.
no, I got that. I got that. I
Okay.
got that.
Then all of you please try these questions. 3 questions are there. I've got an answer. Let's see. Any other answer? Mark ने एक आंसर तो दिया है. Anyone else having any answer? At least for pH है ना? Concentration of ions we can calculate, but right now I'm asking you just pH बता दो. Like I told you, whenever they are giving you some solutions which are getting mixed, first calculate what will the concentration of these substances given after the mixing. है ना? So like in the first question, if I have to calculate what was the concentration of HCl when we are mixing these, for first question, I'll write always that just after mixing, what kind of concentrations we are getting. So I'll write HCl के लिए how many millimoles of HCl were there? So it was 0.25 was present in 400. So these many millimoles were there, na? Molarity into volume in ml gives you millimoles, and those many millimoles are now present in 400 plus 400 plus, this is 200 plus 1200 ml, na? And that's why this is the final molarity after mixing. Now if you calculate it, it is 100 upon this is 2000. So this is 1 by 20, which can be written as 5 into 10 raised to minus 2. And that's why H plus from HCl will become 1 times, because each HCl is going to give you 1 H plus. If it was H2SO4 to double karna tha. But right now it is HCl, so we'll be writing this much only. So that is coming 5 into 10 raised to minus 2 only, and which we are calling it as C1. Hai na? That's one part. Now I'll calculate CS3COH also. That will become again, देखो डबल हो गया ना, ये 0.5 है बस, बाकी सब तो सेम ही है, into 400 by 2000. So that is becoming 0.1. So we are calling this one as C2, and इसका K दिया हुआ 2 into 10 to minus 5 ले सकते हैं. So K of CS3COH is given as 2 into 10 to minus 5. So जो check करने को बोला, तो you can check that and you'll find that it is still valid. Under root K upon C2 is coming root 2 into 10 raised to minus 2, which is less than 0.1, and under root Ka into C2, which is root 2 into 10 raised to minus 3, is still less than, equality भी आएगा तो अब तक चलता है, 1/10 of C1. C1 is 5 into 10 raised to minus 2. So 5 into 10 raised to minus 3. So let's say root 2 into 10 raised to minus 3. This is 1/10 of C1. है ना? Okay. And that's why we are writing कि अगर ऐसा है तो फिर H plus from HCl will give you the pH, है ना? So that's why we are saying H plus total is nothing but H plus from HCl itself, and that is 5 into 10 raised to minus 2 only. And we have to check it whether it is greater than 10 raised to minus 6 or not. नहीं तो फिर वो water वाला जो quadratic equation था उसमें जाना पड़ता. But right now यही से pH निकल जाएगा. It will be 2 minus log 5, which is 1.3. Is it okay? Any doubt? Similarly, we have got second question. इस बार basic solution है. इस बार BaOH twice है, तो we need to be careful about that also. So second question में if you see, if I have to calculate strong base का OH minus कितना है, पहले तो we'll calculate that कि just after mixing what is going to happen. From that we'll be calculating OH minus from BaOH twice, and then we'll check C1 C2 वाला conditions are. So we are writing again just after mixing. if you calculate BaOH twice का concentration, that is going to be 0.25 into 400 divided by, ये पूरा देखो 1000 आ रहा है ना, so that's why it is coming 0.1 or 10 raised to minus 1. So OH minus from strong base जो आया ना, that will be double of it, है ना. This will be 2 into 10 raised to minus 1. We are calling it C1. Concentration of NH4OH will be 0.25 into 400 upon 1000. This is coming 0.1 or 10 raised to minus 1, and we are calling it C2. And then we have to check it. So check जो था, that was about under root kb upon c कितना आएगा, c2 कितना आएगा, तो it will be root 2 into 10 raised to minus 2 आ जाएगा, which is less than 0.1, and under root kb into c2, which is root 2 into 10 raised to minus 3, is going to be less than 1/10 of c1, which is 1/10 of 2 into 10 raised to minus 1, है ना, definitely वो कम है. और ऐसा होने के बाद we can directly write OH minus total will be OH minus from strong base only, which is C1 only, and that is 2 into 10 raised to minus 1. Obviously, this is greater than 10 raised to minus 6. So यहीं से POH will become 1 minus log 2, which is 0.7. That is POH. So pH will be 14 minus 0.7, and that becomes 13.3. This is going to be the answer. Is it okay? Any doubt? Third is slightly different. Third is different क्योंकि यहाँ पे देखोगे assumption valid नहीं होगा. If you check third one, the moment I am getting K का value काफी high है ना, 0.2 जैसा हो गया, and concentration is in that range only, then we have to take care कि यहाँ पे हो सकता है assumption valid ना हो, and obviously I am telling you कि ये check करोगे तो आएगा ऐसा ही. But we'll be doing it by the method. So what we are writing again, we are mixing the solution, so we'll write just after mixing. If it is asking what is the concentration of HiO3, so we are mixing equal volumes, है ना. तो HCl के लिए पहले, that is strong acid, we'll take that first. HCl का concentration will become 0.2 if initial volume was V and final volume is V plus V. So this will become 0.1 or 10 raised to minus 1. So H plus from HCl will also be 10 raised to minus 1 only. We are calling it C1. Concentration of HiO3 will also be, it was 0.2 initially in volume V. So now it will become 0.1, which is 10 raised to minus 1, and we are calling it C2. And then if you check the assumption ना, पहला ही assumption जैसे मैंने under root K upon C1 कर दिया, K upon C1 C2 किया, then you'll find that यही number जो है ना, ये देखो ये 0.2 है और ये 0.1 है. So this is coming root 2. ये तो 1 से भी ज्यादा हो गया ना, तो 0.1 से तो definitely greater है. The moment I'm getting that, that means alpha is greater than 0.1 आने वाला है, obviously, है ना. And for that we cannot write 1 minus alpha equal to 1, है ना. So that's why we need to solve the quadratic, which was C1 plus C2 alpha into C2 alpha upon C2 into 1 minus alpha is equal to K of the acid, weak acid, है ना. ये था. Now if you check these numbers, तो C1 C2 सब 10 raised to minus 1 है, तो देखो एक 10 raised to minus 1 एक तो कॉमन आ गया. We are getting 1 minus 1 plus alpha, and यहाँ पे एक अल्फा बचेगा क्योंकि C2 कैंसिल आउट हो जाएगा, डिवाइडेड बाय 1 minus alpha is coming, K का वैल्यू is 0.2 आ रहा है. So that's why we are getting a quadratic equation in which alpha square plus alpha by 1 minus alpha is coming 2. So this will give you alpha square plus 3 alpha हो जाएगा minus 2 is 0. And and that's why alpha will be -3 plus, दोनों minus नहीं लेंगे because you will be getting negative value of alpha. V square is 9 minus 4ac will become plus 8 by 2. So this is root 17 minus 3 by 2. Now if you see, इसलिए देखो root 17 यहाँ दिया हुआ है. It is 4.12. This will become 0.56. And which is greater than 0.1, and that's why अगर तुमने assumption लिया होता तो वो wrong हो जाता. रटा रटाया मेथड नहीं काम आएगा यहाँ पे. ठीक है, and that's why we need to solve this question, this kind of question. Now if they're asking you what is the PS, so we need to know H plus total, which was C1 plus C2 alpha है ना. अब H plus total in this case is C1 plus C2 alpha, and we know that C1 and C2 is 10 raised to minus 1. Alpha is 0.56, and that's why it becomes 0.56 को अगर मैंने find this will become 10 raised to minus 1. If you are taking the common, I'll be getting 1.56 into 10 raised to minus 1 है ना. और इसलिए log में भी आया. ऐसे तो हम लोग explain इसको मैनेज भी कर सकते हैं, but already दिया हुआ है तो we'll be taking this value 0.19 दिया हुआ है. So this will be, and this number is 10 raised to minus 6 से ज्यादा है. We'll calculate pH from here only. 1 minus log 1.56, and that is, यहाँ दिया हुआ है 0.19 है, तो this will become 0.81. That will be the answer. Any doubt? Any doubt up to this point? So this was case number 5 and 6. We are going to case number 7 and 8. Any doubt up to this point? देख लो एक बार, कहीं doubt है तो पूछ लो. Ask me if you have any doubt. What we are doing in this chapter now, we are creating all kind of permutation and combination. Acid, base, strong, weak. इनका कितना combination बना सकते हो बना लो, and we are solving all those cases. तो पहले हम लोगों ने स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड लिया या फिर स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड्स का मिक्सचर लिया, फिर हम लोगों ने एक वीक एसिड लिया, फिर हम लोगों ने एक वीक बेस लिया, फिर नाउ वी आर मिक्सिंग वीक एसिड विद स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड, वीक बेस विद स्ट्रॉन्ग बेस. Now in the next two cases I'll be mixing weak acid plus another weak acid, and in the next case we'll be adding weak base with another weak base. And then what will happen, that we are going to discuss as case number 7 and 8. तो case number 7 में we are going to discuss if I am having mixture of two weak monoprotic acid, एक को HA बोला, दूसरे को HA dash बोला है. Now if it is like HA and HA dash और HA का concentration, again if they are mixing the solutions, always identify कि just after mixing what is going to be the new modified concentration, वहां से लेके चल रहा है. अभी मैंने बोला final solution में if I am getting C1 and C2 as the concentration of HA and HA dash, then what will happen? So first thing is both of them are sources of H plus, and that's why they are going to impose common ion effect on each other, on the ionization of each other, and that's why the first point is ionization of each acid, each weak acid is going to be suppressed due to common ion effect imposed by H plus ion of the other acid. है ना? That's one theoretical point. That means in absence of HA dash, जितना अल्फा आने वाला था HA का with the given concentration उससे कम आएगा, वैसे ही HA dash का जितना अल्फा आने वाला था in absence of HA उससे कम अभी in presence of HA आने वाला है. That's another point. Now if I have to solve this case कि इसका pH कितना होगा, concentrations of ions कैसे होंगे, then एक एक करके दोनों का ionization लिखेंगे. So in first case, I'll be writing ionization of HA. This time both of them are weak acids, है ना? HA लिखा, so that is going to give you H plus aqueous plus A minus aqueous. And मान लो इसके लिए K का वैल्यू कुछ K है, A ले सकते हो, K1 ले सकते हो, मान लो K1 ले लिया. And दूसरा जो एसिड है, which is HA dash, so that is going to give you H plus aqueous plus A dash minus aqueous. इसके लिए मान लो कुछ K2 is the ionization constant. Now initial this was C1 0 and 0, this was C2 0 and 0. Now this is simultaneous equilibrium वाला केस जो केमिकल इक्विलिब्रियम के लास्ट में किया था ना, वैसा ही केस है, because both of them are going to give you H plus. तो H plus is the common ion and that's why we are getting H plus in both the reactions. तो अभी क्या करना होगा, like I told you, common ion जब simultaneous equilibrium का केस आ जाए, always first fix those substances which are not common, है ना. That was the only single line trick I had given you. तो अभी क्या करना है यहाँ पे, at equilibrium if I have to write जो कॉमन नहीं है, H प्लस के अलावा कुछ भी कॉमन नहीं है ना, तो वी आर अज्यूमिंग दैट कि इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ ईच अदर इसका डिग्री ऑफ आयनाइजेशन इज C1 अल्फा 1, तो डिग्री ऑफ आयनाइजेशन इज अल्फा 1, तो दिस विल बिकम C1 into 1 minus अल्फा 1. इसका डिग्री ऑफ आयनाइजेशन इज अल्फा 2, तो दिस विल बिकम C2 into 1 minus अल्फा 2. इज इट ओके? नाउ A माइनस कितना बनेगा, तो ये C1 अल्फा 1 कंज्यूम हुआ है, तो ये C1 अल्फा 1 प्रोड्यूस होगा, दिस विल बी C1 अल्फा 1. A डैश माइनस कितना बनेगा, तो अगेन C2 अल्फा 2 बनेगा, दिस विल बिकम C2 अल्फा 2. नाउ इफ आई आस्क यू H प्लस कितना होगा, तो इन द फर्स्ट रिएक्शन द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ H प्लस विल बी C1 अल्फा 1. In the second reaction, the formation of H plus will be C2 alpha 2. So the total H plus will become C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2. यहाँ भी उतना लिखेंगे और यहाँ भी नेट लिखते हैं हम लोग जब भी साइमल्टेनियस इक्विलिब्रियम का केस आता है, वी राइट द होल थिंग, है ना, and that's why I'll divide it so that it's clearly visible. So H plus हमेशा ही नेट लिखेंगे, जो भी कॉमन रहेगा ना उसको हमेशा हम लोग नेट लिखते हैं, and that's why at equilibrium now we have got two equations. पहला है H plus into A minus upon HA is equal to K1 and दूसरा है H plus into A dash minus upon HA dash is going to be K2. We have got the numbers, we'll be putting those expressions actually. So this is C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 into C1 alpha 1 upon, this is C1 into 1 minus alpha 1 will be K1, and दूसरे में we have got C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 into C2 alpha 2 upon C2 into 1 minus alpha 2 is K2. Now ये जो equation है, computer can solve it but we cannot solve it by ourselves because it is implicit type कारण alpha 1 alpha 2 mix हो रहा है सब. It will be very difficult to solve this equation, and that's why when they are giving you such kind of question, they'll always give you a condition that alpha 1 alpha 2 जो है ना much less than 1. So if alpha 1 much less than 1 and alpha 2 much less than 1, then we can write 1 minus alpha 1 को we can write 1 and 1 minus alpha 2 को we can write 1 again. अब ऐसा करने से इक्वेशन क्या हो जाएगा ना, विल बी गेटिंग C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 into C1 alpha 1 will become K1 C1, है ना, 1 minus alpha 1 तो हटा दिया, तो आई एम कॉलिंग दिस वन एज इक्वेशन 1. एंड दूसरा इक्वेशन क्या बनेगा, C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 into C2 alpha 2 is equal to K2 C2 बनेगा. This I am calling as equation number 2. Now you might be surprised कि सर ने C1 C1 cancel out क्यों नहीं किया, C2 C2 cancel out नहीं किया, है ना. You do that ना, this यहाँ भी देखो, यहाँ भी C1 है और यहाँ भी C1 है, तो मैं कैंसिल आउट तो कर ही सकता था, बट व्हाई आई एम नॉट डूइंग दैट, यू विल गेट टू नो. अभी जस्ट जो मैंने इक्वेशंस लाए हैं ना, जस्ट ट्राई टू ऐड दीज इक्वेशंस. इफ आई अप्लाई 1 plus 2, अपने आप फायदा समझ में आ जाएगा व्हाई आई एम नॉट कैंसलिंग देम. अप्लाई 1 plus 2, क्या हो रहा है लेफ्ट साइड में, क्या आएगा बताओ जरा, व्हाट विल गेट ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड 1 plus 2 करने से,
alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2 plus square.
होल स्क्वायर आ जाएगा. एंड व्हाट इज दिस C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2, what is this
Sorry,
term, what is this term C1 alpha 1 plus C2 alpha 2? It is concentration of what,
concentration of H
H
plus.
plus डायरेक्टली आ जाएगा, है ना. So what we are getting, this plus this, and that is nothing but H plus का concentration का square, and अपने को यही तो चाहिए था. So directly we can calculate H plus will become under root K1 plus K1 C1 plus K2 C2, and that gives you concentration of H plus if it is greater than 10 raised to minus 6. इसी का minus log of this much will give you the pH. Is it okay? So this becomes an equation for calculation of H plus, और यहाँ से pH निकाल सकते हैं हम लोग. Now if I ask you what will be the concentration of those anions A minus A dash minus, तो अभी देखो ये अल्फा 1 कितना होगा, अल्फा 2 कितना होगा. Now equation 1 में we have got H plus, तो अल्फा 1 will become Ka1 upon H plus, है ना. If I have to write from equation 1, so what I am going to do, I will be calculating concentration of anions. So now from equation 1, I can write now H plus C1 alpha 1 is nothing but H plus into alpha 1 is equal to K1. इस बार मैंने C1 cancel करा दिया है ना, and that's why we are saying alpha 1 is nothing but K1 by H plus, and H plus ऊपर पता है, and that's why if they are asking you A minus कितना होगा, तो that is nothing but C1 alpha 1, so that will become K1 C1 upon H plus, simple. वैसा ही इक्वेशन 2 से सिमिलर मैनर में फ्रॉम equation 2 will write H plus into alpha 2. This time I am cancelling C2 and C2 on both the sides. We are getting Ka2, and that's why alpha 2, if they are asking, this is nothing but K2 by H plus we know expression under root K1 C1 plus K2 C2. And then if they are asking you A dash minus kitna hoga, so that is nothing but C1 C2 alpha 2. That will become K2 C2 upon H plus. If they are asking you OH minus, so that is simply Kw upon H plus. These are the anions present there. Is it okay? Any doubt? अब जो काम यहाँ किया है एसिड्स के लिए, we can do the same thing for bases. तो जैसे मैंने अभी HA डैश लिया था, I can take HA BOH and B dash OH. उसमें जाने से पहले I'll give you one question. First solve it and then base का भी बता दूंगा. Normally questions तुमको दिखेंगे एसिड्स के ही दिखते हैं, but they can ask you anything, है ना. So this is the question. Just try this question. Okay. So I'm getting different answers from different people. One answer is 2.7, another is 2.55. I'll wait for other people to report the answer. Try it, है ना? Try करोगे तभी सीखोगे. Mistakes होता है, not a problem. But try and report your answers, है ना? कुछ भी एक्स्ट्रा नहीं है. Whatever I have taught you, उसी फ्रेम में देखो. Every questions are on. Every question is there. Okay, Raima has got slightly different answer from Sarang. Okay, let's see. एक mistake जो common mistake है, that I told you earlier also, when they are mixing the solutions, first you need to find out what will be the concentration after mixing. You cannot take 0.2 and 0.02 as C1 and C2. If you have taken that, you are going wrong directly. Okay, that's first mistake. शारंग यही किया गया. Okay, so हमेशा इसलिए मैंने बोला till end of chapter I'll keep telling you so that you don't do that mistake in the exam. So just after mixing, you have to calculate first what are the concentration, है ना? So just after mixing, CS3COH, the concentration will be 0.2 into V upon V plus V, है ना? Equal volumes are mixed. Volumes are mixed, है ना? Two solutions are mixed, and that's why we are saying that the concentration will change from 0.2 to 0.1 because volume is getting doubled. So this is 10 raised to minus 1. I'm calling it C1, and K of CS3COH is given as 2 into 10 raised to minus 5. I'm calling it K1. Second situation is if I'm getting HCOH, how much will be that? So it will again become, देखो volume अगर equal volume mix किया तो directly आधा कर देने का है ना. तो this will be into V upon V plus V. This is becoming 10 raised to minus 2. I'm calling it C2, and Ka of CH3COH, sorry, HCOH is given as, let me see, this is 2 into 10 raised to minus 4. So we are calling it K2. Now it becomes a question of formula wala, है ना? So H plus if they are asking, I'll write under root Ka1 C1 plus Ka2 C2, and then we'll say it will become, this is 2 into 10 raised to minus 5 into 10 raised to minus 1 plus 2 into 10 raised to minus 4 into 10 raised to minus 2. So that becomes 4 into 10 raised to minus 6 हो जाएगा. So this will become 2 into 10 raised to minus 3 आ जाएगा, which is greater than 10 raised to minus 6. इसलिए water का H plus is not relevant. Then pH अगर निकालना है तो we'll write 3 minus log 2, and that is 2.7. That will become the answer. Now if it is asking, the first part, the second part, if it is asking OH minus, it is Kw upon H plus everywhere. So now that will be 10 raised to minus 14 upon 2 into 10 raised to minus 3. We can write 10 into 10 raised to minus 15 कर लेंगे, तो 5 into 10 raised to minus 12. That will be the answer. If it is asking HCO minus and CS3CO minus, so CS3CO minus will become, हम लोगों ने देखा था K1C1 upon H plus हो जाता था. So that will become 2 into 10 raised to minus 5 into 10 raised to minus 1 upon, this was 2 into 10 raised to minus 3. So this becomes 10 raised to minus 3. That will become the answer. वैसे ही HCO minus will become K2 C2 upon H plus, and that will become 2 into, again देखो 10 raised to minus 6 ही आ जाएगा, and this is 2 into 10 raised to minus 3. So this is coming 10 raised to minus 3. Now one more thing I'll indicate, अगर alpha of CH3COH पूछा, so that was Ka1 upon H plus Now if you calculate that, now we'll be getting 10 raised to minus 2, okay, which is 0.01, and alpha of HCOH is coming K2 upon H plus, and that will become 10 raised to minus 1 or 0.1, है ना. Now if you see HCOH का अल्फा अभी भी ज्यादा है, CH3COH का कम है. तो like I told you, and जब हम लोगों ने कॉमन आयन इफेक्ट पढ़ा था, ये बताया था मैंने, stronger electrolyte will impose greater common ion effect, and it will be suffering less common ion effect. Weaker electrolyte is going to suffer more, it will cause less common ion effect over others, है ना. So यही point जो मैंने बताया था, that is can be explained by this one. Now like I told you, जैसा हम लोगों ने ये acids के लिए किया, we can have bases का case where we can get this one same, है ना. तो जैसे if you see बेस का केस, अगेन BOH एंड B-OH अज्यूम कर लिया, एंड वी आर गेटिंग सिमिलर फॉर्मूला जो पिछली बार H प्लस के लिए आया था, वो यहाँ पे OH माइनस के लिए आएगा, बट विल बी रिप्लेसिंग K by KB, है ना. दैट मच वी आर गोइंग टू डू. एंड इफ दे आर आस्किंग यू कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ कैटायन नाउ, अगेन सिमिलर फॉर्मूला आ जाएगा. सो इफ वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ कैटायन, तो पहली बात H प्लस तो ऑलरेडी निकाल ही दिया है. So H plus तो already we know that OH minus आ गया है, तो H plus will be KW upon OH minus. Now बाकी सारे cations, तो like अच्छा alpha 1 I'll calculate, it will be KB1 by OH minus, है ना. And then cation अगर B plus है, तो that will become KB1 similar basis पे upon KB1 C1 upon OH minus, and if it is asking alpha 2, so that will become KB2 upon OH minus. Similar है, सब कुछ भी different नहीं है, फिर terms अलग हो गए, math is same. Sorry, this will be B dash plus will be, which is KB2, which is C2 alpha 2 will become KB2 C2 upon OH minus. This was case number 7 and 8. ठीक है. अब ये जो मैंने सिखाया है ना, इसमें वी आर गोइंग टू यूज वन मोर मेथड विच इज कॉल्ड चार्ज बैलेंस मेथड. इससे पहले रिलेवेंट नहीं था इसलिए नहीं बता रहा था, बट इट इज ऑलवेज एप्लीकेबल. दैट सेज इफ यू आर हैविंग एनी एक्वस सॉल्यूशन, द नेट चार्ज फॉर दैट सॉल्यूशन विल ऑलवेज बी जीरो. Next class में I'll explain this because it will take some more time, and I'll be discussing 1-2 examples based on that. But if I'm having any aqueous solution ना, तो net charge is going to be zero. What does that mean? इसका मतलब है concentration of cationic charge will exactly be same as concentration of anionic charge. तभी तो net charge zero होगा ना. So what we are going to do next class में we'll discuss this. What is this charge balance method and how to apply it, where it is relevant, that will also be an important point of discussion. तो एक तो क्या है ये लॉ, कैसे अप्लाई करेंगे इन जनरल, एंड वेयर टू अप्लाई इट, दैट विल बी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. क्योंकि ये मैं पहले भी बता सकता था, बट वहां पर रिलेवेंट नहीं था, इट वाज नॉट गोइंग टू गिव यू एनीथिंग स्पेसिफिकली इजियर. बट ये जो मैंने पिछले केस नंबर 7 एंड 8 बताया ना, ये देखो इतना सारा कैलकुलेशन जो मैंने करके लाया है ना, ये पूरी कहानी ये देखो कि 2 लाइन में आ जाए. ये जो मैंने पूरा इतना सारा कैलकुलेशन किया है ना, ये 2 लाइन के अंदर निकाल दूंगा मैं, इफ आई एम यूजिंग समथिंग कॉल्ड चार्ज बैलेंस मेथड. ठीक है, तो इसको हम लोग नेक्स्ट क्लास में डिस्कस करेंगे, एंड देन वी विल मूव फॉर केस नंबर 9 10, एंड देन उसके बाद एक थ्योरेटिकल डिस्कशन है. फिर हम लोग वापस से आएंगे केसेस पे, वेयर विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट सॉल्ट हाइड्रोलिसिस एंड बफर सॉल्यूशन. ठीक है, चलो आज यहीं पे क्लोज करते हैं, नेक्स्ट क्लास में विल कंटिन्यू इट. बट अगेन जो अपना वेडनेसडे का क्लास है, दैट विल बी ऑन आइसोमेरेज. वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट वेडनेसडे एंड सैटरडे विल बी डूइंग आइसोमेरेज. ओके, चलो जी, ओके, फिर बाय एवरीवन, है ना.